Greetings and salutations, my operators, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we wrapped up the investigation. We learned that Professor Mikotoba was Shoma's real partner, and implied that Iris is Susao's sister. That was interesting. Anyways, and then we started on to the second part of Case 9, which became Case 10 because, I don't know, design choices, because it is the finale, I guess. But this is a continuation of Case 9. Male Strongheart is now the presiding judge because reasons. I assume more scandalous reasons. We learned that apparently Gregson was visiting a gentleman's club the day before he was murdered, or at least the day before he found the body. But that kind of contradicts the fact that we have the passport for the day as well. So he should have been in Paris, or I guess getting back from France. Anyways, we're still pressing Gina. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't on it yet. Hold it! So how had Inspector Gregson come to find out about it in that case? That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so... And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings? Yeah, that's what I was asking myself. Because, you know, I'm just an apprentice. When it suits you, yes. Anyway, the point is, something went on at that club, no question. You can't say that for certain, though, surely. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Hold it! Lord Van Zeeks was at the club? He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted into the room in question as a guest. It looks like there's no disputing. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then. Well, we know that Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook. Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there are also eyewitnesses who can testify that Gregson was there? Even that was a trap. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at this mysterious club. What? Why ain't you asking Inspector Lestrade, eh? Yeah, eh? So that's all I've got to work with. She's not holding anything back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she? I really don't know what to make of all this. Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's not the only way to explain this. Oh! If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean, there are details we've yet to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here. I feel like I should present the passport. I just don't know which one. Okay, all yard detectives are supposed to follow orders, not. Those search the boss notebook, meetings, and smoke goods happy. The grouse. Looks like a big job, but the carpet's not yet. Witness saw the Reaper there. That's a... Don't say that's anything. He was at... That doesn't give me like a time or a date. The notebook has secret meanings in it. Apparently the smoked goods deal was gonna happen at the gentleman's club called the Grouse. And
Hold it!
Leading, where did it? The Grouse, what color code was that? No idea. Huh. Blackbird line. Submission notice. Surely could have been something I missed in the chest, right? Let's have a look inside. Oh, those are pockets and pen pockets, okay. Could not figure it out for life. Now, the only thing there is still the... Look, there's something inside. But I already read all this. Why is it repeating? Oh, let's see. It appears to be a passport, authorizing him to travel overseas. Was Inspector Gregson about to go on a trip abroad then? Perhaps the date of departure might tell us something. That was... Oh! Was it? It was for travel on 31st October. Just one day before the incident. What? Really? Gregson went to France the day before his body was discovered? I think it's time to actually grab it. Do I present the passport here? Doesn't make sense. They're not missing a time, though.
Objection!
Nope! The witness's last statement exhibits a fundamental inconsistency. Not one that any British court would recognize, counsel. What? Remember, this is a closed court. Whatever fate befalls you in here, no one outside will ever know. Should I be wondering if I'll make it out of this courtroom alive?
Hold it!
So you want to expect through different things, the party being independent, here's with the light taking initiative, starting Scotland Yard, prosecutor stands, a false bottom. Does it imply that this has a false bottom? Giving you any other option. That's pretty annoying. Wait, what the hell? That's a flash. Do you see that? Oh, there's something stuck in the side of the trunk there. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal of some sort. But it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. But don't cut yourself. You better leave it. You better leave it, I think. Oh, didn't know that. Have you seen this huge gash across the side of the trunk here? It's gone right through the leather and into the metal behind it. Gosh, for a metal chest like this, it could have been so badly damaged. Whoever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. I wonder how it happened. No, don't tell me Cosmo killed him. Look at this dark stain here. Do you see? Yes, I'm afraid so. I think it's blood. Ugh, I knew you were going to say that. So that presumably means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. I think Gina's been carrying this around with her. If you didn't know any better, I suppose it does look like a grease stain from all the fish and chips. I am really stumped here. I don't know what to do with that. Hold it! Uniform spot in your yard. They saw the Reaper at Judgment's Club, but there's no one saw Tobias at the Judgment's Club. So that's all I've got to work with. She's not holding back with that, I suppose, stare mercy. We don't know what to think of all this. See, said number one mission inspector of Dave, for instance. Everything Lord Van Zeeks told us is true. There must be a mistake in the testimony here somewhere. A clue that we haven't noticed. You represent the passport here? Because this is a secret meeting.
Objection!
It is not. I probably should have saved it right this time. Okay, I am stumped. Do the walkthrough! Okay, wait, what? Are you kidding me? No way. I was accidentally on the right track for like a second and I messed up. Yeah, I saw the blackbird line. I know grouse is a bird, but can't read anything about grouse here. Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse, first class cabin, 001. Yokohama departure, 11th September. London arrival, 1st November. Ah, that's the boat that Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jigoku came on from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called at Dunkirk. on the north coast of France for a night before finally arriving in Dover. To think that it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover on the SS Bura. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of your trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. Oh, well, how strange. Where could it have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Naruhodo? Can I imagine it? Or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Details of the letter of instruction have been updated for record. It still doesn't say anything about the grouse!
Objection!
That's misleading. I think... That's really misleading. Like, even when it updates the evidence, it doesn't update with the name, with the SS grouse on it. I disagree with this one. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously, is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for the evidence, but I haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean, that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on 31st October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irrelevant attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship. I have the evidence to prove it. Here! Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not in the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord. Be more specific next time. This would appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship, yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at the port of Dover on 1st November. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, 31st October, when the victim was on his clandestine mission. That ship had yet docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on 31st October. Now we should present the passport.
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim. Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order! Order! This document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, it docked on the northern coast of France for a night. According to my father, who was on board at the port of Dunkirk. Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? Ha 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 ha! I'm impressed! Renosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What? You mean, you knew about this? The prosecution strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe that something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a forum for the truth, my lord. Which is why it's my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? Order! Order! What on earth are you saying, Counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was, in fact, acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was, obviously, an assassination. Baron von Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. And you claim that was Inspector Gregson.
Hold it! What the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never done nothing like that.
And yes, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
No, it can't be. We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as a Reaper.
Even so, there's no way that the person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zeeks. No, the true Reaper is somebody else. Barak Van Zeeks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. And even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent of the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't fall at all. Man, there's so many S's in that. Oh, you have some solid reasoning for doubting the assertion, do you, Counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that ship. Professor Mikotoba and Judge Jikoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm certain we would have heard about it. What's so funny? You're right, of course. No suspicious death were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gia Lestrade.
What?
The victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier. That doesn't contain any details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Veil.
You're lying. Even if all of them bludgers what got taken out had it coming. The boss went to Reaper. Oh, Gina.
There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. He may just be an apprentice, but if you spent any time at Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors.
I ain't heard nothing. And I don't believe a word of it.
Then testify again, as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss.
I don't.
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Witness testimony. The Reaper's notebook.
Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years. Name of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was 31st October. It said grouse for the place on that date. And then the name of the mark. There's a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper in court 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all.
Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established facts here. This must be so hard for her. You can't deny now, surely. Rinosuke Naruhodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the foul mark, and the location where the assassination would take place. That's information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read a name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on 31st October.
Eh? Oh, how'd you read this then?
Reading's still not her strong suit.
That ain't the problem, alright, Odo. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read.
It's someone from overseas?
Let me have a bash at it. Sashiro. Is it? Yeah, Sashiro. You? Maybe? What? It can't be.
Sashiro Jigoku?
But that's just Jigoku.
Sashiro Jigoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jigoku. I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated.
As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh. Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate this mistake, so he killed the inspector personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barack Van Zieks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Really? Really? Play forgive the discourtesy for feeling my allo jealous whilst I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zieks? The accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the leader. That's the task of this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective. Eh? What?
Nah, that's right. I ain't. I'm an inspector.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony. It's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you planned. Your hatred of me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feeble excuse of for testimony. What did you say?
Mr. Naruto, this is our chance.
My lord, the defense requests that the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information relating to the testimony that was just given by the witness. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the cross-examination immediately. At once, my lord. Cross-examination! The Reaper's notebook.
Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper.
Not you and all. That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret. And the notebook said what he found out.
If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believe the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you on about?
The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you as head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his notebook. I knew the location. knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to a gentleman's club, I went there on the day in question to investigate. Alone.
Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim to have seen you there.
But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then. Back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook.
Fine. Is something wrong, Mr. Naruto? You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago.
Oh, no, it's alright.
I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
How did Kazuma know it was from his metal trunk?
Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was 31st October.
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places and stuff? What in particular?
Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up.
What other name was that?
It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name, written over and over again.
You mean Assassin?
Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she? Were you even listening yesterday?
Assassin. Jin. The assassin.
What? Like, a killer? You mean?
Gleason was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable, and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes.
Ah. Then perhaps what it said on the passport document.
Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin, who was meant to take Seshiro Jigoku's life?
Gina, can you confirm that? Against the file entry that listed Grouse and Seshiro Jigoku, what name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens. What? It just added a question mark or something there, I think.
In other words, Brooks himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gleason was the one making the plans, was he not?
Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin. It's a grouse for the place on the date, and then the name of the mark.
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seshiro Jigoku?
That's what I said. Fine name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd.
So pleased I've lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago,
after that fateful case.
Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook.
I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here has got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep talking. There was a notebook about him being a criminal what got away from a Reaper in court 10 years ago or something.
Hold it!
What do you mean criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal. Well, don't ask me. I don't know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the professor case, I'm sure. Yes, of course. You're right. Cicero was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took to the stand to testify. But he got a little carried away and actually managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged.
It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too, as it happens.
You did?
It was considerable to be an adjuncture to the professor proceedings, you see. But he was acquitted after being told to make reparations for the damage caused to the stand. And there you have it. Have what? Surely the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike.
What? No! Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Goku was targeted for assassination?
The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is.
Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that?
Isn't the whole premise of the Reaper absurd, killing those who have been found innocent? Clearly the rules by which the man operates are far beyond a sane person's comprehension.
But... Objection! Light! I've just had about enough of this. Gina? All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Odo. Yes? Why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You've got to find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You've got to work out who it is. Please, for the boss.
That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums could make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear?
I've added with the lotto, yeah. It's lies every bleeding place you look in this world, in it. Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what? To do what, Mr. Naruto? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was just said didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean... I'm not going to let Gina plead for help. I'm not going to let Gina's plead for help fall on deaf ears. Come on, Odo. Help me find a flaw somewhere.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve.
Eh?
What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency?
Really, Oro?
I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... I'm pretty sure it's Kazuma. I'm just gonna say just in case, because I lost 2 by accident, or by ASD earlier.
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I presented the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you realized what you'd done. Very well, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something that Prosecutor Asogi has said?
Take that!
The trunk. This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. Was this a blood stain? And a relatively fresh one, too.
What? You mean that ink grease from all the boss's fish and chips? What grease is that black? Or red? Why are they frying things then?
You actually don't know what they're frying things in pre-1950s England. It might be black. Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be it. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it.
But I found it. Me! With me nose in for trouble.
Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. Kazuma, no, don't tell me. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship dock on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did he know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Runosuke?
Kazuma, what did you...
I had considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose.
Oh no, Miss Naruto. Surely you don't think...
Come on, Runosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really takes talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took the case with him when he traveled. So, as it stands, you've proven nothing. You proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day? In the same place as the inspector? He was there with Inspector Glickson. There's a clue that you overlooked. A secret that the trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accused has made it deeply disturbing, but nevertheless... the accusation being made is deeply disturbing. But nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Sogi to Inspector Glickson? Let's have a look inside. Why can't you skip that? Do you see that? There's something stuck in the cut. Okay, well, I can't skip this. I already read it already. I think I have cabby. Crap.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here. Like the tip of a blade.
Eh? A blade?
Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade, Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it? Here in this courtroom? For all to see. Exercise caution, my learned friend. That the man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Sogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary.
Oh no.
The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Glickson will be answered. Agreed? Kazuma Sogi? Expertly done, Rinosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Sogi? Yes. On 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Glickson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark.
What? What?
You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jikoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Glickson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to?
We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. After all, Judge Jikoku arrived safely in London the following day.
On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Glickson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Jikoku's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyways. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. I left Glickson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and return to England the following morning. A boarding house? In Dunkirk? My signature will be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jikoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the inferior mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. That's the truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claimed, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that.
I feel like you kinda do.
The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of the Japanese blade is irrelevant to the case, and accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. The great sword Kuruma had been entered correctly. We must take immediate action now to verify whether Sessho Jigoku remains unharmed.
What? Remains unharmed?
I agree. That should be our first priority. It's really come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday.
How did you...
When a foreign dignitary arrived to when a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise.
You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jikoku may have been killed?
The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from inside the prison of a prison. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order! Order in court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes.
Now?
Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst.
Oh no, not Judge Jikoku.
No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who only arrived in the country. Except, that is, for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake, my lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. Ah! Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. Alright, let's check out the sword. Feel like something hidden in the tang. Kuruma, the Great Blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze at it. I want to gaze on it for hours. I really feel like there's a secret. The tip of the great sword broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost feel Kuruma's sobs. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Damn, you like loose parts or anything?
Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare.
I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories.
I have such a terrible sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Goku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control.
I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careering towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options.
Actually, there may be one last hand we can play. Or rather, one last ear.
Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us.
If for some reason you completely ran out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ears as hard as you possibly can.
Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? Pull it! Here it goes then. I'm going to do it.
Good luck, Mr. Naruto.
No looking back. Heave! Ow!
That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes? Where are you?
Here, my dear fellow. Here.
It's the felt doll talking!
Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruto, as hard as you can.
Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave! Ow, 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 ow!
Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first class cabin of the SS Grouse.
The SS Grouse?
She left Dover last night, after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour.
You've taken a ship to France?
Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port, in order to board this vessel in time.
So, you mean you've already worked it out? The steamship was where everything really took place?
Mr. Naruto, pray, what is my name?
Sherlock Sholmes, world famous great detective.
Recited to perfection. Well done. You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it. Ow, 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 ow. Miss Susaro, gently with this Jesus' ear, please. Oh my, I'm ever so sorry. If I may, Sholmes. Ah, there you are, Bigutoba. You may remember that it was, in fact, I who made the connection to the SS Grouse. At Scotland Yard yesterday, when we examined that notebook and recalled my steamship ticket. Ah, ha 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 ha! Well, but of course, my dear fellow. But not once did I convert that fact. I merely had our court-bound compatriots under my name. Yes, you did, didn't you? We've just entered recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes now, for now. And if we're unable to present any new leads, then I'm afraid... Do not fret, please, for it's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt we shall... have welcome news for you within the half hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later. Until later then. Yes. You'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow. You shan't be hearing anything if you keep tucking my ear in that mindless fashion. Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Jones? Why the deuce would I know? It's ours to mention, not mine. Interesting. Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half of that now before the grouse puts to sea. If we don't conclude our investigation rapidly, we shall find ourselves in Nepal before long. There are times, Mikotoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let's begin. Hey, you! First class cabin, number 2. Yes. This is the one. I don't believe the investigation of the cabin is going to be... It's going to be plain sailing. Oh, no, you're a different guy. That crewman standing in front of the door is an angry-looking fellow.
What are you loitering here? Who are you?
My dear fellow, do you not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one? The question really ought to be, who are you?
Sure. Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor? The chicken Stroganoff when you see. Great detective. Ha! I don't think so.
Do you see that, Mikotoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine. Goodness me! Is that a tattoo? That's Sholmes? I must say, whilst such adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold.
What are you talking about? Leave, now!
How distressing. My lord devotee knows me only by name and not by appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he is a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact.
How could you know this?
Elementary, my dear Mikotoba. I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard this ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, a man by the name of Jigoku.
There is no one with this name on board.
But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage.
Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think.
What? Are you sure? So, Sestro's realized that we're after him, has he? His cabin is the one behind you. We should like to investigate, please.
No, I've orders not to let even mouse inside.
Mikotoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse so that he leaves the area.
Doesn't Great Detective see that even sailors have ears, both left and right?
Curses! The plan is ruined! And you have only yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes.
Forget it. Cabin door is locked. Even if I'm not here, you cannot get inside.
Mikotoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent. You? Opening a lock. Within a mere 5 seconds. Though, if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requested time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner. How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So, I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 seconds, do I? Good man! So, the game is afoot.
Well, the obvious choice is this.
This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing were to ring. The whole crew would know about it.
I want to set it up, but we're also standing right next to him.
No, I think not. That would never work, surely. I need to concoct a distraction. Ah! The switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we were doing.
Hell yeah, let's do that. That sounds logical. Ugh! What is happening? Where is light?
Now, Sholmes, now!
Of course, Sholmes couldn't see either. Nobody there.
That was a close shave. What knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor? Do be quiet, Sholmes, as you have to think of another approach.
Oh, that was us.
That's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another around the ship. If I could just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he need to use it, Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how? This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow.
Try it?
Choo-choo-choo!
That sounds like Big Mouse in trouble.
Choo-choo!
I will bring bucket of water later and put out of misery.
I don't like the sound of that. In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite a convincing. Only Japanese mice make a choo sound. Oh, really, Sholmes? Pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make? PP, naturally. Though, also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. So go ahead, Mikotoba. Do a PP this time. No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution. That's another first-class cabin, yet its door is completely unguarded. Empty as well. I had a quick look inside earlier. Though I confess, I didn't investigate the wardrobe. There may very well be a young Japanese fellow inside, perspiring merrily. If you're referring to Naruhodo, you know very well that he's currently perspiring merrily in court. Does it not strike you though, Mikotoba? Why the man stands guard only in front of this cabin, when both are apparently vacant?
I guess we gotta go for the alarm.
Here goes then. Pardon me in advance.
You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be very bad problem.
What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganoff, report once.
Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me. My world famous, no. As I told you.
Now, Sholmes, now! Done. Not even 5 seconds, eh? Well, don't stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mikotoba. In we go. Oh, yes.
November. SS Gross. First class cabin, number 2.
Good gracious. It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly. Those clothes on the floor there. They're Teshiro's, without question. Well, it seems we are just a little too late. Yes, by about 2 hours. Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here. But that burly crewman may return at any moment, Jones. Indeed he may, which makes this all the more thrilling. There's a speaking tube here, look. Though it's been stopped with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose. Or indeed, so that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere. Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think? Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering. That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it? According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe. Indeed he was, and it was of a similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow. What? What? Whatever for? It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment. Really, Sholmes, surely you can just tell me what you said. Well, I read some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal a stowaway murderer. I think I'll just read about it in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. That's a very sizable trunk indeed. Mr. was partial to all things large, and a rather clumsy fellow if he failed to notice he'd left that behind. Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you might think, but still a hindrance to a speedy escape. Pity. It's locked. We can't look inside. Surely the 5 seconds from now, the situation will be quite different though. Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose mood to work through all of the combinations at present. That's a substantial heap of clothing on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown, momoshiki work trousers, a tanzan robe, a haramaki waistband, clearly the clothing of a Japanese man. And clearly, Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe. It looks to me as if they've been thrown into a heap like that in something of a hurry. Indeed! You could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps. I'm sure you made mention of packing too few. I'd very likely drown in one of Teshiro's shirts. No, I'll just buy any extras I need, I think. Plenty of reading material to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. I found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say. Whoever stocked this bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, my dear fellows. I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible. I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me. You're a true missionary of the Church of the Great Detective, aren't you?
I really should read the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Wow, Sherlock Holmes is really messing me up now.
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here how it's... Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off. Ice, Mikotoba, ice! What opulence the first-class passenger enjoys? Chilled drinks. Pardon? Could it be that this steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think? Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish products, as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world. Certainly, Mikotoba. The sight of you is making my mouth water. I haven't taken on the flavor of the food I ate, you know.
Ah, yes. Sherlock Holmes. The favorite to immediately fall to cannibalism.
This is a waste paper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside. Indeed? Then let us pry. I discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' waste paper baskets. I sincerely hope only for your work. Ah! Here we have a notice issued to passengers from 3 days ago. 3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London then. When I was still aboard myself.
Evacuation drill notice, 31st October. What? Why? I didn't press anything!
Ah, yes. There was an evacuation drill. I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So, it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once.
Evacuation drill itinerary has been entered into the court record.
These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are severe punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or travel cases. I feel the rules have increased since the last I read them. Perhaps just my imagination. What about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you? You may be right. Probably just your imagination though, a trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles. It's probably just my imagination.
I think that might be slightly off.
The wall is a slightly different color, just here. Do you see? Indeed. What you have observed arises when a frame has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief. Now there's the bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure. He may very well be the elusive thief who has been plaguing Francis galleries as of late. I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a similar shape and size elsewhere.
You are still here.
Ah, Able Seaman Stroganoff. Hello again. I was beginning to think you'd never materialize.
You are waiting for me.
Of course. I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far too sooner.
I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before.
Poor innocent chicken.
It is all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off now.
Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there's something that must be done.
What are you talking about?
Why, naturally, the debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth.
Gakoi?
I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jigoku has not yet left this vessel at all.
Oh,
And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganoff. You know exactly where the man is, even as we speak, don't you?
how can you?
Good gracious, Jones! You mean you've worked it all out? You've worked it out, all of it? It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance? With my inimitable logic and reasoning. Nothing would please me more.
What is this?
We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. Time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Jigoku left the ship some 2 hours ago.
No, that is what I said.
Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it.
What?
Ah, yes, of course. I see you've you know it too, Mikotoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Jigoku? Having disembarked 2 hours ago. Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observational skills, then, Mikotoba. It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes, not 3. Why, of course it has. Quite. Now, all the clues are here in this cabin for your eyes to see. But, as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe, observe, and the answer becomes clear. So, impress me. I think I can imagine that.
The glass contain ice?
Take that!
Interesting.
Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass. How curious! The ice shouldn't have melted, despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago.
Oh,
It would appear that the man was here in this very cabin until moments before our arrival. With this well-chilled glass in hand. Get your mind off the refreshments, Sholmes. One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff?
oh.
But why would Seshiro run from us? Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one small matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accommodated on your voyage from Japan? Ah, that's right, they are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seshiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage. As I suspected. For you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide. What traces?
I know nothing about this.
Ah, this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff? Jones, what exactly are you getting at? As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears out of place, which I'm quite sure won't escape your notice. Something out of place in here? That's the key to this, Mikotoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place in here are being masked by something quite incongruous. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Mikotoba. No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns. As we well know. Now then, let's see if I can't uncover the truth here. Yes, you have the floor, my dear fellow.
Take that!
Oh, what?
Mikotoba, no games now. Were my words, were they not? Heh. Come, Sholmes, where's the fun in life without a little fooling around? Ah ha 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 ha! Quite right you are! That was a close shave. I'd better rethink that before I'm cool here. You must tilt your head to one side and listen carefully to the faint cries of the sea. Here the evidence calling out for you to find it. Here I am, it cries. Well, your methods were never conventional, but you know, I've always been willing to give them a try.
Dear God, Mikotoba, open your eyes. It was a metaphorical listening that I was suggesting. Ah.
Take that! Oh, it's one or the other.
Olay. It's the rule of passage in this frame here, but quite obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall, as if they were put there in a hurry. Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded. That frame was originally over here, the shape and size of a perfect match.
Duh, you are right. When did flame move?
Hardly the most observant crewman, are you, Mr. Stroganoff? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability. Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve. So, Mikotoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
A gunshot.
That looks like a bullet hole.
What? Who has been shooting walls?
I see. The projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff, I have the distinct impression that you are attempting to shield said occupant.
I don't know what you are talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern Stranger?
Ah, so we're talking about the same man, I see. Good. I'm sure we can get to the bottom of this in no time, aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by... I really don't know how to approach this one, Jones. Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle. And I'm quite sure you'll see it. That you see it. In fact, I'd put a wager on it. So I'm going to glare at the fellow from all sides? Well, I can't surely do that.
Oh, looks like he's been paid off.
Take that! It's almost too obvious for words. Quite. The universal language of the world. Money.
Oh,
And I'd wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Sessho Jigoku. Yes?
gah!
So, I presume you realize what this means. There are clear signs that a crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice.
But
I believe you know this, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jigoku is hiding, at this precise moment in time. As always, Mikotoba, in matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally. Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the chink in this burly fellow's armor. We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupil, a minute delayed blink. Nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible. You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man turned his entire head. It's not exactly what you describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious. We shall let your tapping toes decide, my dear fellow.
take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you?
Oh! The truth is, Sessho Jigoku was unable to escape from the ship in time. And is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk. If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air. I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible. But how can we? Are you forgetting about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code. The combination lock can be opened from the inside of the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure. Of course. In short, before Jikoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. As I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff.
No. I know nothing about combination codes.
Don't move a muscle, my good seaman.
Huh?
Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
So it's 5631045.
How on earth do you expect me? It's a 7-digit number. Remember. Quick now. We have little time.
Wait, there's no 6. Oh, I can see.
Oh, that's 2.
Oh, it's 5.
Take that!
Please be alive. Please be alive.
That did it. It's open.
You had to meddle, didn't you? Ow. Well, Eugen, you found me now.
Yes, Hiro.
Okay, I'm gonna save it here, and we'll continue on next time. Let's find out why he's hiding in the trunk. Who is he covering for? And why was he attacked? Until then, thank everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!